Thanks for joining me today. We're going to be making a bunny trail sign. I picked up this reception this way place card at the Dollar Tree. Now it has a little stand on the back, and boy did I discover that is glued on really well. Some of them snapped off not bad, but a few of them didn't. So I'm just pulling off what I can here just with a pair of pliers. And I discovered that it was glued down very well. So the next thing I did was I got out the old X-Acto knife and started trying to pull off the backs. So I did the best I could, and then I decided what is left, it was flat. So I got some Waverly white chalk paint, and I decided to paint the whole back just to cover all of that. The sign is going to be two-sided. It'll take a few layers of Waverly chalk paint to cover that reception sign. Originally, I did leave that little decorative scroll marks at the bottom, but then I went back and fixed it and just covered that all up. And now I'm going to be making it look like basically old barn boards. So I just get some gray paint and draw some lines, and don't make them solid all the way down. I just lift up the brush now and then and just freehand it. Nature's very not in a straight line, so just go ahead and freehand it. Well, now I'm going over it with the black and further emphasizing different spots, making it look like a naughty board. Don't make all your lines solid, don't use a ruler, and it doesn't have to be perfectly straight. Next, I'm going to use this grass tile to cut out a bunny. So I'm looking at my sign. I want my scale to be right, and I want to make sure it fits on the grass tile because I'm going to cut it out of there. So I'm just sort of eyeballing how big of a space I have to use. Now, I'm not the artist of the family, I tell you that. Robert is a professional artist, I'm not, but he's not home, so I'm going to do this myself, and I'm just freehanding it. So if you just, when you're drawing, just think of different shapes. Here I'm thinking of sort of a leaf shape, and just trying to go with it. I'm not worried about it being perfect, and I'm not professing that I'm any artist, that's for sure. Just kind of go for it, don't be afraid to give it a shot. So I'm just trying to think of scale here and shapes as I go. How big should a foot be, or the head, and then what shape is the head? Well, think of it maybe the size of a tennis ball. Kind of imagine sort of a circle. And okay, well, that's sort of okay. And I wish the ears were maybe a smidge bit bigger, but that's not bad. Maybe a face should be a little rounder, so we'll just try and figure that out. And then I'm like, oh boy, that body sure is big for that little head. So then I decided to make it smaller. So don't be afraid to give it a try. Like I say, I'm no artist, so I'm just going to try and do this best I can. You could probably download something off the internet as well. I'll try and attach a copy of the image I made here if you'd like to copy it. So then I got to thinking, this is bunny trail sign. The bunny is just not going to be sitting there. It's going to be running down the trail. So, okay, I know I'm no artist and the legs look a little funny, but just think of them kind of like popsicle sticks sticking out a little bit, and put some legs on. It's not perfect, but kind of makes it look like he's moving instead of just sitting there. So since it's a bunny trail, I figure he should be running. So now I'm just going to cut out my image, and even as I'm cutting out, I'm kind of refining and making things hopefully look a little better as I go. And now I'm just checking for scale to make sure it looks okay underneath my sign, and I think it's all right. It's not too big or overly small. So it'll fit on my tile, so here we go. So now I'm going to trace my little image here onto the back of the grass tile. Thank you for your support. Kindly like and subscribe our video, and hit the little bell to see upcoming videos. And now I'm just going to cut out the little bunny tile. And now I'm just going to check and see how does that look underneath the sign. The sign's just drying, so I thought I would work on the bunny. And I think, yep, that looks okay to me. So I wanted to make it a two-sided sign. So I need another tile for the other side. So now I'm committed to it. I'm going to cut out another bunny. Made some modifications as I was cutting, so I need to trace the bunny because my pattern won't be exact anymore. So I'm just tracing the bunny so the other side will hopefully be more or less the same size. So now that I have a set, I'm going to get some of this chain. Now, this is from the Dollar Tree. It was from a pot, a hanging flower pot last year that I used for another purpose. So I just save all the scraps from all my crafts because it comes in very handy. So here I'm using a scrap from a craft last year to add on to this one. So here's this chain, and I'm just deciding how long should the chain be. If you use 2 pliers, it's very easy to pull the links apart. Not so easy with 1. I find with using 2, you don't need to be strong at all in order to take the links off. So again, I'm just sizing it up, deciding where I'm going to attach it, how long should it be, because I want it to hang evenly underneath the sign. So now that I figured it out, I'm going to just put it to the ear and the back. So I'm just using my hot glue and just attaching the chain first of all. Then I'm going to add more hot glue to add the other side. So my cutting wasn't exact. It's hard to cut the green tile. So anywhere where the backing shows, I use a felt marker just to color it in black, and it doesn't really show. So I don't have a Cricut, so I just did a rough draft on a piece of scrap again, and I'm going to use some carbon paper just to trace it on so at least it's more or less even and my letters are about the same length. Well, I'm just pressing hard on the carbon paper so the image transfers down to the board. I'm just going to use a black Sharpie. It gives me the best control, and I'm just going to copy on top. So I'm not going to hang my chain. I'm actually going to put holes in the wood, so I'm just lining it up where I'd like the holes. And I have this, it's a Dremel tool. You can actually see the price still on it, $3 at a garage sale. So I'm very big on garage sales and saving money and doing things as affordably as I can. So I'm just using my 2 pliers again to open the links. I'm going to put it through the hole and then use the 2 pliers to close the link again. That way it's hanging directly from the sign. So I'm thinking that's looking pretty cute. So now I need to hang another chain so I can hang it either from the wall or from a little signpost. I'm going to hang mine outside. Now I'm going to make my little signpost, and it's just a plant hanger from the dollar store. This was not Dollar Tree, but another dollar store. And it was one of their little better ones. I think it cost $4. Now I just had this in my garage. Now I have a flower pot I use for lots of projects. I painted black last year, and I just pushed some styrofoam in there and pushed down my plant hanger right into the styrofoam tight. And now I just want to cover it up. I want to put some moss in the bottom, so I'm just going to fill the holes with just some scrap paper, and then I'll make a little just sheet on top so I have something to glue all the moss onto. So I'm just poking a little hole in my paper. I don't want to pull too hard when I push my plant stand back through it. So I'm just making 2 puncture holes just so I can easily push down my plant hanger, and it also will secure the paper from like blowing away or anything, because I will set out my front porch later. So I glued down the paper, and then I added glue on top, and now I'm just going to apply moss on top of that. So just be generous with the glue and just press down your moss. And as I was working on this, I thought, boy, wouldn't it be cute to nestle some little Easter eggs in the bottom? So I think I will put it outside, and then closer to Easter, I'll put some Easter eggs in the bottom. Well, we actually get bunnies in our yard, so I'm wondering if they'll follow the sign. Thanks for crafting with me today. I hope you give it a try, and we'll see you next time.